You're listening to the Known Legacy Podcast, brought to you by Known Legacy Ministries. For more information, go to knownlegacy.org. Now here's your hosts, Bill and Travis.
Howdy, Bill.
Howdy do.
Man, okay, so real quick, the info at knownlegacy.org. Please email us your questions if you got any.
Yeah, we'd love them.
We'd love to talk about them. We'd love to share with them. They can be silly. They can be serious. It does not matter. You can always follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook. So we do have an Instagram account. And, we have a conference coming up if you haven't signed up for that yet. I think we may release this right before the conference. There's still time. It's going to be about 120, 140 guys, which is going to be fantastic in LaGrange, Texas, with Longshot Ministries. Go to knownlegacy.org for all the information you may want with that.
Yeah, there's the bar in the top.
Yeah.
You can just click the little long shot thing.
If you find these videos or podcasts good and enjoyable, please feel free to share them and like it and subscribe and everything else. It always helps us to get the word out. And Bill, tell us a little bit about your book.
Yeah, so book's coming out.
Released.
Super excited. I mean, this is the formed copy that is like the not for resale, but book's going to look the same.
There's a lot of pages in that book, man.
It's quite... Yes.
Is there any coloring pages?
About 58% of it is coloring pages. No, it's exciting to see it come together. Excited, and it's like we had Kelly on just a moment ago, a little while ago last week.
This is our hot take, by the way, which is
welcome to
where we take a chance to reflect on the conversation we just had, and we'll release it the next week. If you have not had a chance to go back and listen to last week's podcast with Kelly, please stop what you're doing right now. Go back and listen to that full half-hour conversation with Kelly. It is, I think, one of the best podcasts we've had
in a long time. I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to do this. And you pause it right there, and then you can go to the other one, so then you have this picture of me. Just like that, and then you can go back to the other one.
Right.
And that would look good. I think so. I think it'd be nice.
Great.
But I think what caught me is he talked about that men don't know what they're called to do.
Yes.
And that's some of the heart. That's the heart of the book of More Than You. But the idea of that's the heart of what we do every week, right, guys?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so if you're out there, if you're like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do, go back and listen to that one, because that one was a home run hit from Kelly. But I think what I took from it for myself was you just don't give up.
Right.
Like in his mind, in his journey with his wife having left him, the ink was completely dry on that paper for 6 years.
Yep.
And he still fought for her. And I was like, that's awesome. And I think there's something powerful in that. And if you didn't have a chance to go back, you're going to love the story with the guy who we think is an angel. But it's pretty incredible. But I would challenge you in that what I took away from it was just don't give up.
Right.
And so many people get so close. It's like that meme you see, and it's a guy walking away with a pickaxe, and the diamonds are on his side, and the other guy keeps digging, and you're like, that really is true.
Yes.
Because with God, we cannot fail. And so when I mean that, I'm not talking about abundance. I'm not talking about, prosperity gospel. I'm talking about the idea that God has called us to something. He is faithful to do what he has desired to do. That may not look like what we're asking or what we perceive in the beginning, again, the whole onion thing. But man, as we dig into it and we see God doing something great, do not give up. And then if we ask God, he's going to answer us. And it may be a person on the side of the road with their thumb pointing out to the west, or it could be a whisper that we open the word and we get truth and we're like, wow.
And that's what really struck me was his passion for if you are not in the word, you will be deceived.
Yeah.
And that was just such an arrow to the heart of in a world that is so hard to discern truth and discern what is right and what is good and who is speaking truth and life and who is speaking lies and deception. And again, it's so simple, but I find it so difficult for so many guys in our culture, myself included.
Yeah.
I have no problem reading news articles. I have no problem finding Facebook. But there is a spiritual hitch from time to time about just getting
in the word.
Into the word. And I know that's how I know it's a spiritual issue.
Yeah.
It is an absolute battle, because Satan knows if we actually got into the Word, the actual Word of God, and sat at the feet of the Creator of the universe on a regular basis, our lives, our attitudes, our postures would 100% be shifted and changed, because we're hearing from the one who knows us, the one who created us, the one who has redeemed us, the one who has called us by name, and we hear from him through all of the different stories. The Old Testament stories, like his story just reminded me over and over again that no one is too far gone on for the gospel of Jesus
Yeah.
Christ to break through the hard soil and the hard heart to give life and give it abundantly.
Yeah.
You know? And so for me, it was just like this call again, like, get into the Word.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, it's God's a restorer.
Yes.
And He's a redeemer. And we still, I will put on myself, I will still say, but I've gone so far. You know what I'm talking about, guys? Like, I've gone so far.
Yeah.
He's obviously pretty ticked off at me right now. And he's like, no. And that doesn't give me carte blanche to sin. It gives me the ability to get away from that sin.
Yes.
And go, I am redeemed. And as
Because
a
I
child
know what
of-
that sin does. I know where that sin leads. I've been there. I've
Yeah.
tasted it. I've seen it. It is not good.
No, and there's this. It's funny. I just read an article today. It wasn't an article. It was a post on Instagram. So it was an article.
Right.
But it talked about the scientific value behind a father whose brain actually softens when he sees his child. Wow. That kind of mushy, like we've talked about.
Yeah.
It's scientifically that something changes
Science.
where you get this soft heart towards your kids. Because if you saw somebody else's kid, you'd be like, get away from me. But your kids are like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that is the heart of the Father who looks at us and says, man, I am so for you, so I just want you back.
Right.
I just want you back. And I think that's the part that is so intriguing about this. But, I mean, I love this. Kyle, did you get anything specific out of this? Or
I just thought the boldness of him just throwing things out that were so heavy
Yeah.
that most people wouldn't even talk about one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's just dropping them. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, like the opening thing about, well, you mean after the drugs, the alcohol, the woman? I mean, the boldness to say,
Time out.
I own it.
Yeah.
It was part of my past. And
I'm telling you, it was Paul.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Paul. And Paul never shied away from his past. He goes, I'm the one that killed Christians. Absolutely, I'm the one. But
Yeah,
Christ
yeah.
captured me. And once Christ captured me, everything changed.
That's it.
And that's a real life story that Kelly is sharing. Like, I was that guy.
Yeah.
That you could not trust. I was the guy looking for the angle, looking for the scam, looking for the easy money, and God captured me, and everything changed. And it took his wife 6 years of seeing changed behavior for her to fall back in love with the man that she made a commitment to prior to that, and remarry. And I don't want to gloss over the fruit of that is this whole Bible study that he does online with concerts and just having guys talk. And it's not through video; it's just through phone. Which, part of me is like, oh, that's so archaic. But the way he explained it, I'm like going, that's brilliant because it gives guys a level of separation that allows them to go, to be a little bit more transparent, a little bit more honest. And so if you are a guy that is looking for a Bible study, I would highly recommend you checking it out. What was the website again, Bill?
It's soldiersforfaith.com.
Soldiersforfaith.com.
It was so good. I mean, I just the redemptive side of it, the value of what it is, and then in the midst of it, just not giving up. That's how I keep going, just not giving up. God's a redeemer. If you guys are ready to quit, this is not the time, especially as a child of God. God is waiting for you to come back. God wants to see you come back to Him, and it's not so that He can smack you around.
Nope.
It's so just like the prodigal son, so that He can wrap His arms around you, and that's not weak at all. In fact, the weak part is keeping the arm's length. That is weak,
dude. And I think we've experienced it like with our own kids. Like when both my kids are football players, and sometimes some games you win. In the trenches, they're both offensive linemen, and some games you lose.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just lined up against a guy that's bigger, faster, stronger, and you're doing everything you can. And I can see how they get deflated.
Yeah.
And there is nothing that brings life to them when after the game, when their friends are all gone, I just give them a hug, and you can feel their entire demeanor go from like, they just, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. And that's what our loving Father wants, is to just be able to wrap Himself around you so that you would have a moment to go, it's still good.
Yeah.
It's still good.
So get back up, don't give up, and move forward.
Yep. Absolutely.
God is enough.
I love it.
I love it.
So anyways, part of the hot takes, Kyle, anything else?
No, I'm good.
Part of the hot takes is that you guys have a chance to give us questions, whether it be through leaving something in the comments or emailing us at info@knownlegacy.org.
Yes.
And today's comment or question comes from Brian Barry, who's actually the owner of the cigar shop that we record in. So a shout out to
Thanks, Brian.
Smoking Lamp Cigar Lounge here in Allen, Texas. Thank you guys so much for letting us be here on a regular basis. But the question was, it's kind of a goofy one, but I think it's fantastic. So it's a two-part question. Ready, guys? What's your ideal car? Like if you could get any car, what car would you get?
Okay.
Number 2 is, what is a car you once owned that you got rid of and you've regretted it ever since?
So my son keeps bringing up to me the car that I like, and I've never been like a muscle car guy, but years ago, I think it's the 1962 Corvette with that like indent, the kind of the speed indent on the side of it.
Yeah, like the original Corvette. The original Corvette.
He's like, I'm always like, he always asks me all the time, he's like, what car do you want? I'm like, well, I wouldn't mind that, because for a long time I had a Jeep. I had 2 Jeeps, and I love them. And so, but I honestly wouldn't want them again. But I don't know of a vehicle that I have that I would want again. But the first car I had was an '88 Chevy Corsica 4-door powder blue. That thing was awesome. That could hold like 9 people.
Nice.
And do amazing donuts. Sorry, Mom and Dad. And but I will share the story with you because we're talking about cars. And sorry, I'm totally hijacking this conversation, but it made me think about it. Before I could actually drive it, I'm confessing my sin to you guys. I was gonna pull it into the front yard to wash it because I was 15. I was super excited.
Yeah.
Totally had no like spatial reasoning, and I hit the porch.
Oh no.
And the whole like stairs did this.
Oh no. Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever told my dad. I'm 43 now, and
I'm sure he knows what happened.
Well, I took a sledgehammer and I just back, and there was a little gap, and I was banging it in, and I literally said nothing to him ever. Sorry, Dad. I might have told him once a long time ago, but it didn't do anything to the car, thank God. And so, but that was the memories that I made in that car were probably why I would want it back, if anything. So,
understand. Kyle, what about you?
What about you?
Well, if I could have any car, I would really like to get a Jeep Wrangler JL. That would be my dream car. It's the best car I've ever owned. So,
don't you own it right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, I'm just trying to make sure that is the vehicle. I was like, is there another Jeep you wanted?
I might get another one. We'll see. The car that I wish I had back was, God, I don't remember how old I was, but I must have been 18 or 19, and my grandfather helped me buy a 1980 MG Midget.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Over the protest of my dad, and I was here in Texas, and they're in Ohio, so I bought it in Ohio, and that thing was just terrible. I mean, it had everything wrong with it, but I probably spent a good 40 to 50 hours with my grandfather taking it apart.
Yeah,
and
that's
everything.
awesome.
Then my dad decided he'd help, and then I drove it back to Texas, and then down here, my friend John, he had to help me with it. I mean, we totally took the engine out, rebuilt it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it wasn't the best car in the world. It was fun when it was running.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
keeping it running was the problem.
I would say that.
That's fantastic.
That's
so
awesome.
for me, the car that I hate that I got rid of was, I think it was an '88
a good year.
Toyota 4Runner.
Toyota.
And it was the last body style where the tailgate folded down. So it was like a traditional truck
like
fold
a truck
down.
fold, yeah.
And I loved it. It had big old beefy tires. It was lifted a little bit. It was a pure gem of a vehicle. It had like 120,000 miles on it. I didn't have the money at the time. It had a cracked cylinder head, and so I had to really get some repairs on it. So I just traded it in for, I think it was like a Mazda Protege, which was, I think that's when I lost my man card right there. I'm pretty sure I lost my man card at that point.
Or was it this morning listening to the song, to the Beastie Boys song, blasting it in your...
My Nissan Altima, yeah. And I'll tell you, a classic car that I would love to have is an old white Bronco, where you could pull off the back top.
Like an OJ Bronco?
Oh, yeah, the OJ Bronco. Like the old school, legit Bronco. elevate that thing, lift that thing up, put some big old beefy tires on it, and just ride around like you own the road. I would absolutely love that.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. I love it. Well, guys, it's been good. This has been good to process through what Kelly talked about and all this kind of stuff. And so, any final thoughts?
No, just as always, like us, subscribe, and info@knownlegacy.org. Send us your questions, and we'll get to them. I appreciate Brian giving us that question today, so that was fantastic.
That was awesome.
And man, there's more and more guys out there like Kelly, and you could be one of those guys where God captures you and changes you and flips your life upside down, and it's never the same. And that is the best thing that could ever happen to you.
Yeah.
So just don't be surprised when God flips things upside down.
Yeah, guys. We're grateful for you. Thanks for watching. Click that little like button down there. Follow us. Share it with your friends. Thanks for being a part of what we do here at Known Legacy.
Buy the book More Than You by Bill Uhouse. And, we'll see you guys next week. God bless you guys.
Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the Known Legacy Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. So email us your questions or comments to info@knownlegacy.org.